Hi, and welcome to KegMetrics.com. This is a brief overview video explaining what KegMetrics is and the benefits of using it. KegMetrics is software in the cloud designed to help simplify managing kegs. We combined a workflow management system with an inventory management system and keg tracking to provide you with the ultimate and simple tool to manage your kegs. We ripped out all the stuff that you don't really need or don't really care about and only included the most important things. Some benefits of KegMetrics? Well, you'll save money by managing to your average throughput number. You'll be able to sell more beer with innovative features like the digital keg collar and the request reorder button. And you'll save time by enhancing communication through all your team members with things like BCCing and automatic email off to your customers for status reports of your kegs that they currently have out. Let's jump right in. What we got here, this is the main application. We have a production tab, metrics tab, a kegs tab, which we're currently on, and the customers tab, and then a setup. For keeping this video short, I'm just going to go through the main functionalities and we'll leave setup for later. On the kegs page is basically like a search page, much like Google is a search page. You can come in here and you can search for what you're looking for. You can just choose the proper drop down. Let's say I want to look for a status of what's in my current inventory. Choose inventory and do search, and this will show me everything that's in my current inventory. In this fictitious brewery, we currently have 2 kegs that are 1/6 barrels. I can toggle to show by volume here, 10.32 gallons or 0.33 barrels. I can also add multiple search parameters to drill down. So if I want to look at what is just my winter porter that is currently in inventory and also a size of, say, a 6 barrel, I can go in here and have a 3-tier search like that, and it'll show just the one. I can clear the search by just doing that, clear search. There's various other actions like bulk actions where you can print labels, you can bulk edit, so you can select all of your kegs that meet a particular criteria and then move them without having to scan, or you can basically add kegs in this view right here. And in a nutshell, that is the kegs page. If I wanted to see all of my kegs, I could just click on this link here, all kegs. And we can see in this brewery we've got 4 1/6 barrels and 5 ponies and 1 50-liter. And we can also see all of the details associated with it, such as the serial number, the keg ID, the size of the keg, the batch, who has the keg out right now or who it's reserved for, the current status of that keg, the days that it's been in that status, some particular notes, and then when we actually purchased the shell, the keg shells for those people that are running with keg logistics and need to keep track of their leasing period. I can easily take all of this, copy it just by pressing a button, open up my spreadsheet application of choice, and press paste. And there you go. Might need to size it so I can see, but there you go. Now I can create cell sheets with the click of a mouse. Now we'll jump over into the metrics. On the metrics page here, this is basically a heads-up view, really, a view at a glance of your brewery. So everything that was on the kegs page, this is kind of a summary of it. Right here you can see we have 1 keg that's currently being in the clean state, and we have 2 kegs that are in inventory. I can actually see what those 2 kegs are by just clicking right there, and immediately I'm taken to the same search that I did manually over here previously. So it's a preset search mechanisms. I have summaries of all of those kegs in that state in both gallons and barrels, and I can see all of the states that my brewery is currently configured for. I can see the average throughput or the turn rate, and this is the amount of time that on average it takes for a keg to go from clean to clean again, and we calculate that in the cycles. So there you go. You can actually see what is actually going on with your brewery. You can take this number and you can manage to it. And if you manage to it properly, depending on how many kegs you're saving, a 10%, I did an example previously, a 10% savings actually can save you thousands of dollars. You can take all of this and export your data that's your history of your kegs at any point in time. You can export them with the Export Data CSV button. Going back to the kegs page really quickly, I want to highlight something here. If I click on one of the serial numbers associated with the keg, I can actually see the entire history of that keg since its inception or been created in this system, ever since time. If I wanted to change a status either in the future or present or past, I can either manually create a new keg status right here, I can edit a previously created status right here, or I can just simply delete the status right there. So I have a heads-up view. I can manage groups of data. I can go in and pinpoint one or two things and edit it that way as well. I can copy and paste off into an Excel sheet. I can see at a glance a summary of things. I can do quick racking reports. And that is basically just how I'm looking at the data right now. I can actually also go in, and this is how I change data. So if I wanted to say scan a keg into clean, I would just walk up to the keg and get out my scan gun and scan the QR code. And there it is. As you can see right here, this QR code is actually a URL. And what that basically means is if I was to take that URL and if I was to copy and paste it into my address bar and then press enter, I would actually go directly to that keg and where it's at. Likewise, if I'm a customer and I scan the QR code that's on the side of the keg, I get a public version of that keg where I can actually see the contents of that keg, and these values right here can be configured to whatever your brewery wants. So you can have the date it was kegged, you can have the various different status like or descriptors like the ABV or the IBU. We call this a digital keg caller. You can also request reorder more. If you're the customer or the bar, you can literally just type in your email, say request reorder, and then this goes to the brewery, and the brewery gets an email that says, this customer at this email address who purchased this keg previously with this contents would like to request some more. Okay, so I'll go ahead and submit that, and I've just gone ahead and moved this particular keg into its clean status. I'll go ahead and do that one more time just so you can see what how the system basically functions. And there it is. It goes on in, and you can see right here it says the size of the keg that was scanned, the status that it was entered into, in this particular case service, and you can actually change these names. And if there's additional details, it'll show that there, and then the timestamp. When you do that in the inventory state and you actually select it to go into an inventory state, you actually are going ahead and creating a batch number right here, and then this is your date that it was kegged, your keg date. It literally will take it down to the microsecond for you, and you've got that last little partial fill there. If I come back here, you can see it's also, if I scan, since I scanned two of them, it says I scanned two. I look on the floor, 1, 2, bam. The gallons are 12.91 and this many barrels. So this is a fast little racking report for you. Okay, so each of these steps up here can be configured, and if you actually were to label these phases as mandatory, which not all of them are, but let's say clean is, right? Because you're never going to ship a dirty keg. You're always going to clean the keg. And so if you label it as mandatory and you go from, say, dirty and empty right to fill right here, skipping over the service one, it would tell you that you've actually skipped a mandatory step, and in fact you're trying to probably fill a dirty keg. So it'll help with QC and probably save you a lot of money that way as well. So we've covered the kegs, we've covered the metrics, and we've covered production. If we jump over into customers, you can actually see here in customers, in this particular brewery, these are the customers that are there. We've got very cool distributor, has different email addresses, and that's how we associate customers in our tool, because when a customer has a keg out for 30 days or more, they get a status report emailed to them. If you toggle this on, it automatically is sent right to that email address that is associated with that. And the email basically is a created form that basically says, hey, we're really glad you bought our beer. We're really We really hope you enjoyed it, and we see that you've had these kegs. The kegs that are in red are out beyond 60 days. We'd like to come and collect them, or we'd like to basically get them back. Can you help us do that? And if they reply back, then it goes right back to the brewery login address that you used to log into. When that email is sent, you can set it up such that it can be CC'd or BCC'd to anyone on your team or anyone really that you want. So you could actually align sales calls, you can align your collections team, you can align your distributors, all through email, which is a tool that they're already used to. If you did not want to do auto notification, you could actually turn that off, and then you could click on the customer and you could say, I'm just going to manually send it. And there you are. This actually right here is the kegs that they have out. And if I go on back here, you can see that that information is summarized right here as well. This particular distributor has 2 kegs out, and they've had their oldest keg they've had out for 6 days. The notification was last sent less than a day ago because I just went ahead and sent it. And that, my friends, is the customers. So you've got production, metrics, kegs, and customers. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to take calls.